Minister Justin Trudeau's involvement with the We charity goes under the microscope in Ottawa. Ontario is open for business, but Greater Toronto and Hamilton area will have to wait. Canada's favorite national pastime is returning to the ice, here at home. Humber News stats now.
Hello, I'm Kajal Mangesh Pawar, coming to you with our virtual newscast from Humber College. It's Thursday, July 16th, and here's what's making news. A parliamentary committee has started its investigation into the We charity scandal. The federal government had appointed the charity to administer the pandemic-related summer student grant program, but We's ties to the Trudeau's family have many Canadians wondering about the Prime Minister's ethics.
The Prime Minister offered an apology earlier this week for appointing We charity to administer the $900 million summer student grant program.
I know there are many questions and problems with the way this program is run about, and I know people have concerns about it. I get that. I made a mistake in not recusing myself immediately from the discussions, given our family's history, and I'm sincerely sorry about not having done that.
Both the Prime Minister's mother and brother have financial ties with the charity. Trudeau says his heart was in the right place.
During this unprecedented pandemic, we got very creative with a range of programs designed to help Canadians, to help families, to help businesses, and yes, to help young people. We worked with a range of partners across the country, organizations from United Way to the Red Cross to food banks. We made sure that we got help to Canadians. When it came to this organization and this program, the involvement that I'd had in the past and that my family has should have had me remove myself from those discussions.
Trudeau's mother and brother both earned a total of nearly $300,000 for speaking at We charity events. It has also been reported that the Prime Minister's wife, Sophie Trudeau, earned $1,500 from the charity. The House of Commons Finance Committee voted to hold 4 sessions, examine the decisions this month, and will hear from a number of ministers and civil servants, as well as the head of Volunteer Canada, who criticized the program.
Ontario has seen new COVID-19 infection rates dip to the lowest they have been in 14 weeks. Premier Doug Ford has announced most of the province is now clear to move to phase 3 of reopening by the end of the week. But the province's epicenter, Toronto, and several other hotspots will remain in phase 2 for now.
My friends, this is great news. We're moving forward as a province, but we can't stop. We won't stop until we get every person in Ontario, until we get every worker in Ontario back to work and back on their feet.
24 public health regions of the province will move to final phase of reopening, while Toronto, Peel, Niagara, York, Durham, Halton, Lambton, Hamilton, Haldimand, and Windsor-Essex will remain in Stage 2. Areas entering Stage 3 will permit gatherings with a limit of 50 people inside and 100 outside, as long as social distancing is maintained. Gyms and movie theaters will be opened, as well as places of worship at 30% capacity for things like weddings and funerals. All openings are contingent on practicing masking requirements, number limits, and social distancing.
Premier Doug Ford has also announced resumption of indoor visits and mandatory air conditioning at long-term care homes.
Ontario will take on a new strategy for developing long-term care homes for elders and enforce mandatory air conditioning.
When it comes to long-term care, it can't be business as usual. We need action, and we need it now. My friends, we're committed to building 30,000 long-term care beds over the next 10 years. And today, we're making a historic investment of $1.75 billion to kickstart the development of long-term care beds in Ontario. And we will continue to plan for more long-term care beds until we reach our goal. And we're getting shovels in the ground. We're building new beds, and we're upgrading existing ones. We're redeveloping homes to modern design standards, so our seniors have access to features like private and semi-private rooms. and the latest medical technology.
The new approach will ensure that beds are designed and redeveloped in places most in need and will create 8,000 new long-term care beds and 12,000 redeveloped beds in the coming years. The total estimated investment of the project is around $1.75 billion.
While COVID-19 infections in Canada are falling, south of border, the number continues to surge, with record new infection highs in the United States.
Let me be blunt. Too many countries are headed in the wrong direction. The virus remains public enemy number one, but the actions of many governments and people do not reflect of this. The only aim of the virus is to find people to infect.
The grim situation in the US is a contrast to Canada. Florida saw more than 100 deaths in one day for the third time this week, and hospitals are facing intense medical pressure.
They're bringing a few physicians, they're bringing a lot of nurses, they're bringing medics, manpower, what we need to provide better service to our patients. Our nurses are overworked, they're extremely exhausted.
While new infections in Florida surged with more than 15,000 cases in a day, some were out on the streets protesting against masks.
I think it's a great thing to wear a mask. I've never been against masks, but I do believe they have a time and a place.
WHO says that there is a possibility that aerosolized particles in specific crowded settings with poor ventilation for prolonged periods of time could lead to outbreaks.
Across Canada, people are finding different ways to cope with the pandemic, and not all are positive.
A recent study by the Canadian Red Cross and the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction says that there has been an increase in the consumption of alcohol among young adults.
Research, actually, what we see is that people under the age of 35 are actually increasing their drinking more than adults over the age of 55. So a lot of the evidence we have so far. And the people who have increased their consumption, so the reasons that they gave for increasing it were stress, boredom, and lack of a regular schedule.
LCBOs were declared an essential service and they have been operating since the start of the pandemic, often with lineups around the block. Canada's low-risk drinking guidelines offers tips to moderate drinking habits.
So any month can be a month where you take some time off. And for a lot of people, it can be helpful to just re-examine their patterns with alcohol and rethink, maybe you're drinking alcohol, but you would be just as satisfied with a tea or another type of drink in the evening. And it just became a pattern and a habit that you're not even really enjoying.
The Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction offers resources on their website at ccsa.ca for those who need help with their drinking.
The heat wave that has currently gripped most of southern Ontario, including the GTA, is not leaving us anytime soon. Shruti Mehra has the story.
Many streets of the GTA remain empty as the heat wave continues to soar. Southern Ontario has already witnessed 19 days with above 30-degree temperatures. Experts say that we are halfway through the warmest July and the warm nights are a concern.
I think that right now, if the month ended right now, it certainly would be up there in one of the warmest ever. No question about it. We've had in Toronto, I think we've had of the 12 days, we've had 9 days where the temperature's been above 30, and some of those days it's been up to 35 and 34. So it's been incredibly warm, and the nights have also been very warm, and that's one of the things that is a very much concern from a health point of view, are the warm nights.
The city has experienced humidex numbers above 40 degrees in the last week. Environment Canada has also released a map of Toronto's emergency cooling centers for residents to cool down during the extreme heat.
The weather is too high these days and it's really getting warmer day by day. It's really hot outside, and because I'm out because I have a little one at my home and I have to take care of her, so I'm out just to get the essential stuff for her, and yes, it's hot.
As we are heading to an even warmer weekend, experts have also advised residents to take necessary precautions against heat strokes.
Know that in a particular day there are peak heat times, then less. There's morning is comfortable, late when the sun goes down is comfortable. So if you like to jog or athletically fit in that, well, go to the early or late in the day. Don't do it at high sun or in the afternoon. No, be hydrated, but not with alcohol. Be hydrated with juices, with fruit, with sport drinks, with water. Water is a great hydrator.
Experts say COVID 19 restrictions that are keeping many people home are perhaps protecting some from excessive outdoor temperatures and a rising humidex level. I am Shruti Mehra for Humber News.
And now, from the heat to some ice hockey, the NHL has laid out its official plan to resume play after 4 long months because of the pandemic. Toronto and Edmonton will act as hub cities and host all the games, but only staff and players will be allowed in the arenas.
As the US COVID-19 infections continue to hit daily highs, the NHL has decided to move to Canada. Players, their families and staff will be staying in bubbles, a term the NHL uses for hotels around the arenas. The players will be tested every day and are not allowed to visit each other's hotel rooms. Some NHL players from different teams have already opted out, citing health and safety concerns. Vancouver was cited as a hub city but has dropped out after citing safety concerns. All Eastern Conference games will be held in Toronto, and Western Conference teams will play in Edmonton. The playoffs start in August and will go on till early October. Edmonton will host Conference Final and the Stanley Cup, something it hasn't done since 2006. The first exhibition game will be between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers on July 28 and 2 All-Canadian matchups, with the Maple Leafs facing the Montreal Canadiens and the Oilers versus the Calgary Flames will also be held in late July.
Thanks to the Black Lives Matter movement, the Washington Redskins is finally dropping its name and logo.
It's been a long time coming. Indigenous people have been fighting this for a long time, and pushing the Redskins and pushing the NFL for a long time to change this name. And so today is a day of victory for Indigenous people.
The NFL franchise says it will retire its former name and logo after a backlash from sponsors and retail partners. The anti-racism protest has caused many sports teams to reconsider brand identities. Closer home, Alberta's Edmonton Eskimos are conducting a survey to relook at its name and logo.
I guess this is the message to like all the other leagues and all of the other, the leagues and the teams that are out there. Don't wait for people to knock down your door to do the right thing. You can take some leadership now.
Manchester City is now free to play in the next season's Champions League after winning its appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, the CAS. The team had been banned from European play for 2 seasons for alleged fair play breaches.
Manchester City's head coach continued on the offensive in the light of the successful appeal.
It's about the money, maybe, but Jose and all the managers should know that we were damaged. We should be apologize, because, like I said many times, if we did something wrong, we will accept absolutely the decisions for the UEFA or the CAS because you did something wrong.
Tottenham coach Jose Mourinho says the CAS decision is unfair. Unfair because CAS only punished the team with money.
If Man City is not guilty of it, I think to be punished with some million is a disgrace.
Manchester City was banned from Champions League play for 2 years earlier this year, accused of serious breaches of fair play rules that limit club spending. The initial fine of 30 million euros has been reduced to 10 million. The CAS determined the majority of the alleged breaches were unfounded.
Sky gazers and space explorers have been enjoying a treat from the cosmos. A rare comet, the brightest in more than 25 years, is visible with just the naked eye from here on Earth. Harmony Multani has the story.
If you happen to be outside at sunset, look to the northwest horizon. If you're lucky, you may catch a glimpse of the comet Neowise.
As the comet moves its position in the solar system, due to the geometry, we'll only be able to see it in the evening from after a few days from now. You can see from this picture here how it'll move in the sky as the time progresses. And my quick calculation is it's probably about 13 million Olympic swimming pools worth of water. So that's a lot of water.
Researchers at NASA say the comet is in consistent orbit around the sun and has not been visible from Earth for the last 7,000 years.
So the sun bakes off these ices and turns them into a gas that makes this cloud, this beautiful tail that we see. And that's a combination of the melting gases and the dust that's kicked off by it. And so whether you can see a comet or not and how bright it appears is all a function of geometry. Where is the Earth? Where is the sun? Where is the comet? And so if all of the things line up just right, then this comet is reflecting enough of the sun's light to get to us to appear to be bright enough to see with the naked eye.
They say the comet is 5 kilometers wide, and as per scientific tradition, it is named after the processing system that located its movement toward Earth.
This comet was first picked up at the end of March as part of our automated processing. And so as the data came in, it goes through an automated system that tries to identify moving objects and sends it to our team to review. And so as part of that review, we were looking at it and said, hey, this looks like a comet.
The comet is visible in the northern hemisphere, but may gradually grow lighter in the coming weeks. Curious minds and skygazers, be sure you do not miss this once-in-a-lifetime rare sighting. Harmony Multani, Humber News.
That's all for today. I'm Kajal Mangesh Pawar. Humber News is written and produced by students in the journalism program. For more coverage, visit our website humbernews.ca and Twitter at humbergrnl. We'll see you again next time.